Okay. Um, Welcome to my podcast. Hek82 is my channel. Yes. I'm
Yes.
happy to have you here. This is great. I
Thank you
can
so
ask
much.
you a few questions. Um,
Yeah.
this is Steve Bello, and I just happened to run into his page on Twitter, on Facebook. Then I just checked out his music. It was really cool, really great stuff.
Thank you.
So I asked him to come on, my show. I asked him a few questions. And you're a guitarist who is based out of New Jersey, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken. But
Yeah.
that aside, which is totally cool because now I've had time to check out a lot of instrumentalists from New Jersey, really well-known guys. I'm seeing a show this weekend, Anthrax, Exodus, and Black Label Society,
Nice. Nice.
which I'm totally looking forward to. I love those guys. Happened to notice your name, which I thought for a moment he was related to the bass player, Frank Bello.
I get that all my life, so it's cool, I'm sure I don't know if he gets it, like, I don't know. I get it though.
Oh, yeah. Well, hey, if I meet him, he'll hear about you, so I'm going to tell him.
Yeah.
But, and that guy sure has a story, but they're also from New Jersey, so this is cool. But yeah, I mean, first of all, I'm gonna get back to how much we like heavy metal later. But
Absolutely.
and you play actually a 7-string
Yes,
guitar,
I
is
do.
that correct?
Yes, I do.
Can you tell me about that instrument? That has a different sound, and it's a very
Okay.
interesting, beautiful musical sound.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yes.
I first heard of seven string because of Steve Vai back in the 80s when he joined Whitesnake. And of course, being a Vai fan, I had to check this guitar out, of course. I was already an Ibanez fan. And I played it and I love the sound of the low B with a lot of distortion. Obviously, it sounds really cool, very Black Sabbath. And I thought, I'm just not good enough for one. You got to be Steve Vai to play this thing. So I never touched it.
Wow. Okay.
And then I would hear bands like Dream Theater. And then I heard the band Korn. And for
Uh-huh.
some reason, I thought, I like what they're doing. They're not playing any solos. They're just doing really cool sounds. I think I could do that.
Yeah.
But I
Oh,
kept
wow.
telling
Okay.
myself, nah, I'm just not ready for one. I'm not ready for one. I kept holding off. And no joke, when my daughter was born in May of 99, a
Uh-huh.
month later, I was working at this music store. This girl came in with her mother with a gig bag and she says, do you buy back guitars? And we said, yeah, it depends. And she pulls out this black Ibanez 7-string and it was beat to hell. No strings on it. It
Really?
looked like somebody ran over it.
Mm-hmm.
So my boss said, well, we can't take this in. It looks like crap.
Uh-huh.
So he pulls me aside. He goes, if you go outside with her, I didn't see this. Why don't you buy it from her? So I bought it
Really?
from her for like $200.
Really?
And that's how I got into 7-string. And ever since then, it's been like pretty much my identity. I've been playing guitar for 20 years up till that point. And now all of a sudden I'm known as the 7-string dude. So I'm like, cool. But I learned with the 7-string, obviously you get some really great heavy sounds, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But I also learned you could play really cool, clean stuff. And I got to be friends with a jazz guitarist. He unfortunately passed away a couple of years ago, Bucky Pizzarelli.
Okay.
And he played 7-string. He was one of the
Mm-hmm.
originators of jazz 7-string.
Oh, really?
So I brought my Ibanez Universe for him to play, and
Mm-hmm.
he brought his Benedetto guitar. And this thing, that the neck was like a tree trunk, but he's like, you got to tune that thing to A, man. You got to tune that thing to A. I have one of my guitars tuned to
Okay.
A, but
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, I just love the way it feels. I love the way it sounds. It works for everything I do. Obviously, when I teach, I use a 6, but I have a couple of students that are curious about 7, so I'll let them try it. So it's
Yeah.
been, like I said, my identity for about 23 years now.
Well, it's an interesting story. That's great. Yeah, I just gotta say, I know you mentioned how inspiring it was to see Steve Vai play with Whitesnake, and he's certainly an inspiring
Yeah.
performer to watch. I saw a tour myself.
I saw, yeah.
And that is the feeling that I had. It was his tour was called Light, his Light Tour. That's the full name of it. It was many years ago. But he had some blues artists with him, and wow, that's a great stage show, really cool. And Whitesnake too is this fantastic band where they just have so many terrific players. They have through that band, in and out of that. I mean, you got the main core of it, and then a lot of guest players and things like that. They show up here and there, make guest appearances. Really great guys. I've met a lot of them. But yeah, as far as the 7th string, I mean, how do you do it in your mind? Like, it's almost. I mean, which
no one's
string
ever
is
asked me that before.
Is it an extra string, or is it just your favorite string, or how does that go? Can you put it anywhere?
I don't mean, I'm not laughing at you. Please don't think that. When I finally got one in my hands, I thought, okay, what's the best way to approach this? And there was actually an article with Steve Vai about it. And he said, don't look at it as a 6th string with a 7th string. Look at it as a new piece of gear. He said it's like if you bought a typewriter and they added a second space bar for some reason. You learn how to integrate it. And that's what I did. I mean, I took chords that I knew on a 6 and I said, well, okay, well, let me add a bass note. And I get these really cool sounds out of it.
Okay.
And again, with the jazz stuff, opened up a world of possibilities. So I always keep, you ask me what I do in my mind. What I keep in mind is, is what I'm doing on the 7 translate really well, or does it sound like I'm forcing it? And if I feel like something's being forced, I stop. Because I want everything that I do to be natural. And, there are a lot of guys that play 7-string, 8-string guitar now, 9-string guitar. It's like the guys that play 5 and 6-string bass. Every song's in B, and I'm guilty of that. Every song was in B because it sounds really heavy. And if you took that B away, it's like a crutch. So if they had to play a 6-string, would they get lost? So, but a lot of guys, they would, it's like the meme on Facebook, 5-string bass solo, 0-1, 0-1, 0-1, the dun, 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 like the Jaws theme. And I want to avoid that as much as possible. So I want to really expand my range on the guitar. And hopefully somebody hears me and goes, all right, you can do more things. I mean, I'm not Steve Vai, I'm not John Petrucci, but I think I hold my own, and I want somebody to go, I think I could do that too. That's pretty cool. So that's how I do it.
Well, I could hear that. Yeah, like I said, I've been listening to your songs. And these albums are very enjoyable.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that the songs are they're well constructed. They're interesting to listen to. It shows a lot of skill in your playing. I mean, so to speak, as far as good music goes.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah, good stuff, definitely. So I'm just for my listeners on this podcast, I hope to get some attention to these albums for you.
Cool.
And they're available on iTunes.
iTunes, yes.
And I think there's actually 9. You're saying 8 covers on right now, and a 9th one on the way. So that's what I've read.
Yeah.
Are they mostly singles, or are they full albums?
Well, I have 8 albums, but 4 of them are pretty much out of print. I didn't reproduce them or anything. So what I did was, you have the refurbished cover behind you. During the lockdowns, like everybody else, you just kind of sat there and twiddled your thumbs. So I thought, well, you know what? I'm not going to remaster and re-release my old albums. I figured I'll take a couple of songs from each and put them together on a little compilation. And then I came across some live stuff, and I'm like, oh, I forgot how good this sounded. And I just figured, what the heck, so if anybody's interested in like older stuff, it's on refurbished. As far as albums that are still in print, as far as what you can get online, obviously Mood Swings, which is the most recent CD, the 8th album I put out a couple of years ago. Marblehead is still in print as far as downloads. I forgot the name of my albums already. But yeah, so the last 4 CDs pretty much you can get online. And then I released some singles here and there. Again, a couple of the songs like Smash the Past and Climbing the Walls were basically demos that were never finished. But I like the way they sounded. Again, during lockdowns, what the hell, just throw them
Oh,
out there, see
really?
what happens.
Yeah,
And
they're
I was
fun to listen
surprised.
to. I like
Yeah, I
this
was surprised.
Go Berserk. That was the
That's
one
the
I
one.
was
Oh,
listening to
and
before I
Layers of
called.
Time.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm losing it. I forgot my albums already.
I
But
know.
yeah, so the last 4 CDs are in print as far as what you can download. I still have a couple of hard copies left of Mood Swings, but once they're gone, they're gone. I'm gonna start work on my 9th album. I already did a song with TC Tolliver of the Plasmatics. He did one song just to get him in the studio because he's really busy. So with my guys, Mike and Brian from the band Attacker, we've been rehearsing my songs since December, November, December. We have one more song to work on actually this Wednesday. It's a little ballad kind of thing. So once we get those songs really tight, we're going to hopefully start recording in May.
Oh, neat. That sounds great. And those guys that you're recording with, can you tell me something a little bit about them?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, the drummer, Mike Sabatini, he started the band Attacker back in 83, 84. And I was a fan of the band already. And I'd seen them back in the day, at a club called Studio One. And I think I saw them once or twice. And I got to be friends with him many years later, chat through social media. Never, ever once in my life did I think, wow, this guy's going to play my music. It's to me, it just seems so far fetched.
Mm-hmm.
Back in 2020, when everything were pretty much lifted, I had a drummer and a bass player that was supposed to be on the Mood Swings album, or was going to be Mood Swings. I had a different title. And I asked Mike, hey, I'd love for you to produce and engineer my album. I'd love to. That's great. And I just wasn't working out with these guys. And I think I made a post on social media, I'm just not going to do it. I just don't think it's in me. And he called me, he goes, no, send me the songs. I'll play on your album. I was like, are you serious? And
wow.
we, so is that. So then when the album came out, it started selling and people were going, oh, you're going to do the live shows? Because I totally said, I'm not doing any more live shows. I'm done. But he said, my bass player, Brian, wants to help out. And I'm like, all right, we'll jam. And we got together. I'm like, wow, this sounds great. I'd be stupid not to play live with this.
Mm-hmm.
So we did 2 shows last year. We played a benefit concert for my friend Irene back in March last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then we played Metal Fest 7 in Teaneck. That was in July. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to leave it at that. We did 2 killer shows because with my luck, if I did a 3rd show and it sucked, I'd be hating life right now. So 2 shows done. We're working on this album. Mike and Brian are working on their own album with their band Attacker. I think they have 4 or 5 songs together. The singer's got lyrics and stuff like that. So yeah, Mike is really busy. I mean, he's helping engineer and produce other bands. He's helping me out. He's helping a few other guitar players out. So this is his life. My life is I teach and I record and
right.
when I do play on stage, I pretend I'm a guitar god and then I go home. So it's really cool.
Neat. Yeah, and the name. Can you tell us which store you are teaching at?
Yeah.
For listeners in your area.
Yeah. I live in Ramsey, New Jersey. I teach at Music and Arts. There's a store in Ramsey. Music and Arts is right by my house. And then there's another one in Paramus where I go on Thursdays. So I teach Monday, Tuesday right by me, Thursday in Paramus. The rest of the week I teach privately. As a matter of fact, after this, I'm going to do a lesson. Fortunately, the dude lives up the block from me, like a couple blocks away. I teach every day, and I have between the 2 stores and private lessons, I have about 30 students. So it keeps me busy.
Mm-hmm.
And I love when my students challenge me. So it's really cool.
Nice. Well, it's great to hear from you.
Thank you.
One more thing I can ask you about is like you've got some great sponsors, I've heard, or are you actually my actual question is, do you go to now? I
Uh,
always want to say Nam, but it's actually
yeah, I've heard
Nam.
some people pronounce it Nam. Yeah.
Yeah.
The last time I was at NAM was in 2020. Ibanez took care of me,
Hmm.
and it was great I hadn't been there since the California NAM 2014. And when I was there, that was the first time I was at NAM.
Oh, really?
I worked at a string company that I won't mention, and
Okay.
it was for business more than anything else. I got to hobnob a little bit. But the cool thing about when I was there, I got my orange endorsement, which was really great, because
Those are fun amplifiers.
I love them. I love them. And
I like how they vary in size, and then
yeah,
you can stack them.
well, yeah, I don't know
I
if you
want
can
to
see
get a
behind
little
me.
one, start at
I
the
don't know if you can
top.
see behind me, but let me just do this.
There
There you
they
go.
are. Beautiful.
And so I went to Summer NAM 2015 in Nashville with another string company. They're out of business. But 2020, I got an email from Ibanez like, you're going to NAM. I was like, wow, okay. And I was going to go in 2021 like everybody else, but of course, lockdowns happened and they weren't opening anything. So I hope to go. If I don't go this April, I want to go next January. I just love being there. I'm a kid in a candy store, and I get to rub elbows with
It's
some people, and
it's fun.
hopefully they're,
Me
you
too. I
know,
end up at NAM. I don't know how, but yeah, I might be there. I might bump into you. So,
if you do, then great.
or if I happen to be in New Jersey, it's not impossible. I could
Anything's
catch
possible.
a show. Sounds like fun.
You never know.
Well, anything more you want to tell us about your awesome sponsors or?
Okay. Well, obviously, I've been actually. I wanted to wait till October to say this, but I guess I could just mention it now. October will be 20 years. I'm an Ibanez artist,
Wow,
so that's pretty amazing.
that's really
And
great.
thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And this past February 12th, I was an Orange artist for 9 years, so that's pretty cool too.
Mhm.
I have GHS strings. I've been with them for quite a few years. I just signed on with a new guitar cable company last year called Amp Turco out in Scranton, and Anthony's great. He really takes care of me, and that's really awesome. And I pick guy. They make signature picks for me with my picture on them. Actually, matter of fact,
Yeah,
let me just
let's
do
see.
this really quick. Yeah, so
I
now
like
I know I've arrived.
those are
And the
neat
back,
though.
yeah. So I have that. I have a few other endorsers. Those are my main ones, so to speak, and they're great. They take great care of me. Once in a while we'll lobby emails back and forth. Hey, everything cool? You doing all right? The guys at Ibanez down in Philly, they're just like, hey, bring one of your guitars for a setup. We'll take you to lunch.
Oh yeah,
Great.
nice.
But as far as anything else off the top of my head, if people want to check me out, they can go to stevebellomusic.com. That's my
Steve, SteveBelloMusic.com.
.com. That's my
Okay.
all-in-one website. I
Mhm.
say that because you could buy my downloads there. Uh, you could see all my other socials: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc. And if you subscribe, you get a blog sent to your email directly before it gets posted. I don't spam; that's not my style.
Mm.
But I love to blog about, hey, rehearsal was great, or I got to do this cool gig. I'm 53, but I still feel like I'm 18. My heart and my hair still say, "Nah, dude, you're 18.
Right.
You're still enthusiastic. You're not old yet." So
Mhm. Mhm. Absolutely. Forever young. Yeah, I love musicians' hearts like that.
we're good like that.
That's how gotta love the love of music just keeps on going.
Yeah,
Well, it was nice meeting you, Steve, and
same
thank
here.
you for
Thank you very
talking to
much.
me about your music. Um,
Thank you.
I'm gonna ask you one more question. I don't want to let you go.
That's okay. It's all right.
Because
It's
you're
all
a
right.
teacher, and I think we got a little time.
Yeah.
What can you say about how you shred like that? Um, because I've seen young people and they, sometimes young guitarists they don't really know how it's done, and they're saying, I gotta be faster, I gotta be faster, and they don't know how to do it, and some of them try drugs or they try
Oh,
something really crazy, saying, I know I can speed up, I can do this. What's the secret?
well, fortunately for everybody in the world, I don't do drugs. I don't do any of that stuff. I don't believe in it. If somebody does and it helps them, more power to them. That's just not my bag. But you got me thinking back to when I was a kid learning guitar and I would hear Yngwie Malmsteen and I'd be like, God, I got to be that fast. I got to be that fast. And it was so
Mhm.
frustrating.
Yeah, like
It was
Malmsteen.
so
Right.
frustrating because,
Yeah.
you know, you had tab books. I had a couple of instructional videos and I would sit there like, I'm just not getting it.
Hmm.
And it was really upsetting. And then one day it clicked. No joke. The one day
Okay.
I can't say it was a total overnight thing,
Okay.
but I learned, it's the little things. It's the cliche, but it's true. It's the little things that matter. I mean, if I have my guitars are right over there, but I'm not going to bore you to death. But if
Hmm.
I was to show you like what I show my students that want to learn, kind of speedy playing, even if it's like a bluesy thing like Zach Wild kind of stuff, I'll just say, all right, the less you do, the bigger the impact. And at first their brains are like, we don't get it. And I said, I was the same way.
Okay.
I would watch Ingve just fly up and down the fretboard. I'm like, oh my God.
So you're
And then
staring at,
I realized he's not doing a lot. And
yeah.
that's not a put down. It's just he's doing the bare essentials, and that's what makes it click. And I learned, if you have a good marriage of the two hands and you really pace yourself and you get every note right, and I know I sound now I'm in teacher mode, sorry, but it'll come together. And just like with anything else, it takes time.
It's,
So I see a
yeah.
lot of prodigies on YouTube and Instagram, and I'm just like, oh my God, I wish I was that good when I was 10. But they have YouTube
Well,
and they
life is
have,
like that. I mean,
yeah,
if it's something you want to do later in life, when you were younger, you didn't know, but things in life, they get in the way sometimes. But
yeah,
I like what you said about just working at it, being persistent. Don't give up on it. You can sit and stare at tabs for as many hours as it takes before you
yeah,
finally get a click and can move forward with that
yeah.
progress.
Yeah, because I mean, again, thinking back to being a teenager, I would watch other guys locally and they would just burn. And I'm like, I'm not that good. And it was very upsetting. And I'm self-taught. I never went for lessons in my
Hmm.
life. And I think when I finally let go and said, you know what, maybe I'm just not meant to be this kind of guitar player, that's when it hit me like, okay, now you're gonna do it. And it's it took me a long time. I know when people hear me play, they go, oh my God, you're this, you're that, which is great to hear. But I really worked hard on my technique. I wasn't born a prodigy. I'm not Mozart, and
Well, you
I had
can
to
be a
really work at it.
prodigy and still life, might slow you down just a bit, and you know.
I kept at it. That's what I tell my students. That's my advice to anybody.
But
Just
I
keep
like
at it.
this. It's not like you go to a music store, purchase a guitar, take it home, and expect that a miracle happens and God
Yes.
instantaneously gives you the power
Yes.
to perform this on stage, this
Hmm.
shred. But if you have it in your mind, or if you really think you can do it, you might have to work harder than you imagined in the first
Yes.
place. It could take years and years.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
It did.
it's not like I just know when I step on stage, it's going to come out this shred.
Yes.
You have to really prepare yourself
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
practice performing a little bit at a time.
That's really it.
Yeah. And can everybody do it? If they have a desire, do you think anybody can shred?
Well, I want to say if it's in you, you'll do it. But that's like me saying, oh, I think I could play basketball because I'm 5'10" and a half. I am not coordinated for sports.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's kind of my strange analogy. I've actually had some students say, you know what, I would love to play these speedy runs. I want to learn Eruption by Van Halen, of course, or Heartbreaker by Led Zeppelin, that solo. and I'll say, okay, well, here's how you do it. And they're just like, God, you make it look so easy. I'm like, I've been doing this for 100 years. But I tell them again, you have to remember, I was in your shoes. I was the one that sat there staring at the tablature going, I'll never get this. I'll just never get this.
Mm-hmm.
And once I got out of my own way, it all came to me. The door, that floodgate opened. Like, okay, now you're going to be the shred dude. So
Good, good. Well, I like what you teach, and I like your songs and
thank
your
you.
records, and you know, I hope that you're able to keep on performing with your band, and
We'll see. You know, we'll see. Right now, the most important thing is getting the album together. If we do a show this year, it might be a CD release party, but probably not until the fall. We'll see. We're just gonna
that sounds
totally
fun.
play it by ear.
And I haven't been to the East Coast in a very long time, like
Hmm.
25 years or 30
Really?
years,
Wow.
but who knows?
And
Maybe
again,
I'll
you
end
never
up
know.
on the East Coast again. Well, I thank you.
Thank you.
And you know, I'm definitely look forward to hear more of your songs. So
Great,
I'll
great.
send this interview along, and hopefully maybe people will want to listen, and you can share it.
That'd be great. You know, I mean, I obviously we follow each other on Twitter, but maybe I don't know about Facebook or Instagram or anything like that. And we could just tag each other, and that's the world we
Yeah,
live in
and
now.
I think you had encouraged me too to get more Facebook pages, Twitter pages, and you know, it's good.
Yeah,
I like social media for that reason. You can really just catch a lot of people that you
yeah.
not normally wouldn't be able to meet or reach out to. So it's fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, Steve. Well, I
Alrighty.
hope to hear from you,
Thank you so
and
much.
wish you
Thank
best
you.
of luck.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Take
Take
care.
care.